Now, let's demonstrate how to use Excel to conduct an ANOVA test. In this example, Joyce, the manager, wants to compare the productivity of her 3 employees. So she randomly picked 4 days and measured the number of customers served by these 3 employees. The purpose is to figure out, is there a difference in the mean number of customers served? This is the final collected data. Now, let's go to the data part. Before I conduct the ANOVA test, let's make sure you have already installed the data analysis in your Excel file. Here, data analysis. But in case you have not installed the data analysis component, because we need them in this course, so let's go to the file, go to the options. We need to install the data analysis component, and then you go to add-in. In the add-in, you can see the analysis tool pack. Go to the bottom of the Excel add-in, you say go. Make sure you pick the analysis tool pack, okay? This is the one we need for this demonstration. So say okay. Now we have the data analysis installed. So now, as you can see there, once we open the pop-out window, we can see the ANOVA single factor on the first row. Single factor is also means single way in our case, right? So we also call it single factor ANOVA or one-way ANOVA. So we say, okay. In this case, we make sure we select the data, and to do so, we just select entire data area, and we say, okay. Given that our treatment groups are in columns, so we pick columns here, okay? That's the column by default. Because we also have the labels in our data, so we pick the labels in first row because we select labels into our data as well. By default, we have an alpha value 0.05, the significance level. That is typical choice, but if you like to have 0.01, that's really based on your need for your analysis. You can output your ANOVA table into different places, but because this data is really small, so I usually just output the ANOVA table just close to the data. So in this case, we can select the area of the, in this case, I can pick F3. It's really up to you, okay? You can also pick here, and we can generate the output of the ANOVA to the same data sheet. So I'm going to say, okay. So you can see that you have the data output. Here, let me make it a little bit smaller. As you can see that we have the data output of the ANOVA test. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So you can, in this case, you have the ANOVA single factor. You have the summary of the data. This is not critical for our analysis. So let's focus on the ANOVA table. Yeah. And this is our focus, okay? So let me highlight that in a little bit different color. Okay. So the first column here is our sum of the square. So you can see that between treatment groups or within treatment groups, right? So you also have the degree of freedom for the SSTR or SSE. This is the total sum of the square. So degree of freedom is 11 in our case, because we have, we have 3 times 4, 12 data point minus 1, so we get 11. Given that n is equal to 12 in our case. This is the mean square. We have the F value, 49.6 in these outcomes. We also have the F critical value, 4.25, okay? So based on these two values, we know the F value, the F statistic, 49.6, is significantly larger than the 4.25, the F critical value, so that we can draw a conclusion that the means of these three different treatment groups are significantly different. It means at least two of them have significantly different productivity. We can have the same conclusion from the p-value. As you can see there, the p-value is a very, very small value. It's 0.0000014, right? 0.00014. So it's significantly less than 0.05. So we can also draw the conclusion that at least two of these three employees have significantly different productivities. So hope this help you understand how to use Excel to conduct the ANOVA test. Let me try to summarize the process one more time. Again, you need to make sure you have the data here. This data is from the M1 Lecture 3 ANOVA example in video Excel file. So you download this Excel file and you go to the data analysis and call the ANOVA single factor, say okay, and you input all the data you need and say okay, and you can have the data output. Because we already have the data, so I don't have to redo it one more time. But this should just show you that how to get this ANOVA table using Excel. Okay, thank you.